The Volani had always been considered the galaxy's greatest failure. Their fragile, translucent bodies could barely withstand standard atmospheric pressure, and their pacifist nature made them easy targets for the more aggressive species that dominated the outer rim territories. For 3 centuries, they had been pushed from system to system, their numbers dwindling with each forced relocation. Commander Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the UES Meridian, watching the refugee ships approach through the viewscreen. 12 vessels, each one barely holding together, carried the last remnants of the Volani civilization. The Galactic Council had refused them sanctuary after the Krex Dominion had claimed their homeworld, citing resource allocation concerns and security protocols. In reality, everyone knew the truth. The Volani were considered worthless. "They're requesting permission to dock," reported Lieutenant Torres from his station. "Their lead ship is showing critical life support failures." Elena nodded grimly. "Grant it immediately, and prep Medical Bay 3 with low-pressure environments." The decision to harbor the Volani refugees had been controversial within the Earth Alliance. Many questioned why humanity should risk diplomatic tensions with powerful species like the Krex for beings who contributed nothing to galactic society. But Elena had seen enough suffering in her 30 years of deep space service to know that strength wasn't always measured in military might. Dr. Marcus Webb, the ship's xenobiologist, met Elena in the docking bay as the first Volani delegation emerged from their vessel. They moved like liquid silk, their ethereal forms shifting between solid and gaseous states. Their leader, who had introduced himself through the translator as Whisper of Stars, approached with movements that seemed more like a gentle breeze than walking. "Commander Vasquez." The alien's voice resonated through the translation matrix, carrying harmonics that made Elena's spine tingle. "Your species honors us with this sanctuary. We have little to offer in return." "Survival isn't a transaction," Elena replied, surprising herself with the conviction in her voice. "But I'm curious. Your people have been spacefaring for millennia. Surely there's something you can contribute to our mutual benefit." Whisper of Stars seemed to shimmer with what Elena had learned was amusement among his kind. "Perhaps. We have always been students of the quantum foam, the spaces between spaces. Other species see only the void. We see the connections." Over the following weeks, as the Volani settled into specially constructed habitats aboard the human fleet, their true capabilities began to emerge. Their seemingly frail bodies could phase through solid matter, allowing them to perform repairs in impossible locations. More remarkably, their quantum sensitivity enabled them to detect subspace distortions hours before conventional sensors. The real revelation came during a routine patrol near the Kepler Nebula. The Volani refugees had been unusually agitated, their forms flickering with anxiety. Whisper of Stars approached Elena on the bridge, his translucent features showing distress. "Commander, we sense great danger approaching. Ships moving through folded space, using paths hidden from your instruments." Elena's tactical officer looked skeptical. "Our long-range sensors show nothing, Commander." But Elena had learned to trust her unusual passengers. Red alert. All ships prepare for possible hostile contact. 20 minutes later, a Krex battle fleet materialized from hyperspace, exactly where the Volani had predicted. The ambush that should have destroyed the human convoy was instead met with prepared defenses. The battle was swift and decisive, with the Krex forces retreating after losing 2 destroyers. In the aftermath, Elena found Whisper of Stars in the observation deck, his form barely visible against the starfield. "Your people aren't weak at all, are you?" she said quietly. "Weakness and strength are matters of perspective, Commander. The galaxy values those who can destroy. We value those who can perceive, adapt, and preserve." His form solidified slightly. "Perhaps that is why we find kinship with humanity. You are the first species to value us not for what we can conquer, but for what we can contribute." Elena watched the stars whirl past, thinking of the intelligence reports now flowing in from the Volani about hidden Krex movements throughout the sector. The galaxy had indeed turned its back on them, but in doing so, it had given humanity its most valuable allies. Sometimes the greatest strength lay not in the ability to fight, but in the wisdom to protect those whom others had abandoned.